You can make $100,000 a year and still be broke. You can double your income and somehow feel tighter every month. Meanwhile, there are people earning half of what you make quietly building real wealth in the background. So, what's going on? It's not effort, it's not intelligence, and it's definitely not luck. Because income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep and what grows without you. And if your money isn't structured to grow without you, you're stuck on a treadmill running faster, but going nowhere. So the real question isn't, how do you make more money? It's, how do you build a system where staying broke becomes impossible? Most people don't have a money problem. They have a structure problem. Hey, I'm Brian, and I spend way too much time thinking about why smart, hardworking people stay financially stuck, even when they're doing everything right. You budget. You try to save. You tell yourself, next month, I'll be more disciplined. And then life happens. Bills expand. Expenses creep in. One unexpected cost wipes out weeks of progress. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips through. That's because willpower is a terrible financial strategy. You're relying on daily decisions in a world designed to drain you. Subscriptions, convenience, upgrades, everything is engineered to make spending frictionless and saving feel painful. So, it's not that you lack discipline. You're just using the wrong tool. Because the people who build wealth aren't making better decisions every day. They're operating inside better systems. A system doesn't ask you to be motivated. It makes the right behavior automatic. And once you understand that, everything changes. If you want the highest return on the next 10 minutes you spend on YouTube, treat this like peer review, subscribe, come back to it, and pressure test these ideas against your own life. Because what I'm about to show you isn't theory. It's a structure. It's called the 20, 60, 10, 10 rule. Deceptively simple. Every dollar that comes into your life gets assigned a job before you ever touch it. 20% goes to growth, that's investments, skills, and anything that increases your future earning power. 60% goes to essentials, your real cost of living, not your upgraded version of it. 10% goes to stability, your buffer, your emergency fund, the thing that keeps one bad month from turning into a financial reset. And the final 10% goes to enjoyment, money you are allowed to spend, guilt-free, on actually living your life. That's it. But here's why this works. It's not about restriction. It's about structure. This system scales if you make $1,000 a month. It scales if you make $10,000. It even scales if you make $100,000. Because the percentages stay constant while your life expands underneath them. You're not guessing what to do with money anymore. You're following a blueprint. And once every dollar has a job, something powerful happens. You stop reacting and start directing. That's where the shift begins. If you're new here and just subscribed, comment your name below. I read every comment and shout out new subscribers in my next video. I do appreciate you joining me on this finance journey. Let's start with the engine of the entire system. 20% goes to growth. Not savings. Not leftovers. Growth. This is money that is not allowed to sit still. If you earn $2,000 a month, that's $400 automatically routed into assets and skills that compound. Why does this matter? Because income alone is linear. You work 1 hour, you get paid once. But growth money turns that into leverage. It's like planting seeds instead of eating everything you harvest. One gives you today. The other gives you every future season. Maine? Here's what that actually looks like. Out of that $400, you might put $150 into a broad market index fund, $100 into government bonds or a high-yield savings account, $50 into something higher risk like individual stocks or digital assets, and the remaining $100 into yourself, a course, a skill, something that increases your earning ceiling. That's a risk ladder. You're not gambling everything. You're stacking probabilities. Most people get this wrong in 2 ways. Either they avoid investing entirely because it feels risky, or they go all in on something they don't understand. Both are just different forms of stagnation. Because the real risk isn't volatility. It's standing still while everything gets more expensive. Ask yourself this: if your money never grows, how do you ever get ahead? You don't. That's why this 20% is non-negotiable. It's the part that breaks the cycle. Now we get to the part that quietly destroys most people. 60% goes to essentials. And this is where the system either holds or collapses. Essentials are your real cost of living. Housing, food, transportation, utilities. Not your upgraded lifestyle. Not your "I deserve this" version. If you make $3,000 a month, your essentials cap is $1,800. That's it. Because here's the trap: lifestyle inflation. Every time your income increases, your expenses rise to meet it. You move to a nicer place. You upgrade your car. You normalize a higher baseline. It feels harmless. It feels deserved. But it's like adding weight to a runner every time they get faster. Eventually, progress stops. Housing and transportation are the biggest offenders. A slightly more expensive apartment isn't just an extra $200 a month, it's $200 that never gets invested. Over 10 years, that's tens of thousands of dollars not compounding. Same with cars. A higher monthly payment doesn't just cost you money, it costs you future options. People think they're upgrading their life, but they're actually locking in higher fixed costs. And fixed costs are dangerous because they don't go away when your income dips. So the rule is simple. Contain your lifestyle inside 60%, not because you're restricting yourself, but because you're protecting the rest of the system. Next is the part nobody gets excited about until they need it. 10% goes to stability. This is your buffer, your shock absorber. If you earn $4,000 a month, that's $400 building a wall between you and chaos. Because life doesn't ask for permission. Unexpected medical bill. Job disruption. Family emergency. Without a stability system, one event can wipe out months, even years of progress. It's like driving a car without brakes. You might be fine until you're not. This money sits in places you can access quickly: high-yield savings, money market accounts, short-term instruments. Not invested. Not exposed to risk. Its job is not to grow. Its job is to exist when everything else goes wrong. The mistake people make? They either ignore this completely, or they dip into it for non-emergencies. A sale is not an emergency. A vacation is not an emergency. This fund has one purpose: to keep your system intact when life hits you sideways. Because without stability, every setback becomes a reset. And resets are expensive. And now the part most people either abuse or completely ignore. 10% goes to enjoyment. Yes, enjoyment. Not after everything is perfect. Not as a reward once you figure it all out. Built directly into the system. If you earn $2,000 a month, that's $200 you are allowed to spend guilt-free. Why does this exist? Because a system that feels like punishment doesn't last. If you remove all pleasure, your brain will rebel. You'll binge spend. You'll justify impulsive decisions. And suddenly, one bad weekend undoes weeks of progress. This is psychological. Think of it like a pressure valve. Without it, the system explodes. But here's the key: it has to be intentional. You don't drift into enjoyment spending. You decide it in advance. Maybe it's eating out twice a month. Maybe it's a small trip. Maybe it's upgrading something you genuinely use every day. But once that 10% is used, it's done. No dipping into growth. No borrowing from stability. Most people make one of two mistakes here. They either overspend and call it living their life, or they underspend and burn out. Both break the system. Because enjoyment isn't the enemy of wealth. Uncontrolled spending is. This 10% makes the entire structure sustainable. And sustainability is what makes it powerful. Now, none of this works if it lives in your head. It has to live in your system. The moment money hits your account, it needs to be divided automatically. Not manually. Not "I'll do it later." Automatically. Because every second money sits in your main account, it's at risk of being spent. So here's how you implement this within 24 hours. You create separate accounts or buckets. One for growth. One for essentials. One for stability. One for enjoyment. Then you set up automatic transfers the same day your income arrives. If you get paid $2,000, 400 moves instantly to growth. 1,200 stays for essentials. 200 goes to stability. 200 goes to enjoyment. No thinking. No decision fatigue. The system decides for you. It's like setting up a conveyor belt. Once it's running, everything flows to the right place without effort. And here's the multiplier most people ignore. Earning more. Saving alone won't change your life if your income stays flat. But when your income grows, this system scales automatically. If you go from $2,000 a month to $4,000, your growth allocation jumps from 400 to 800. Same percentages. Different outcome. That's how you accelerate without breaking structure. Remove friction. Automate everything. Increase income. That's the execution layer. Now zoom out. What does this actually build? Let's say you consistently invest $400 a month from that 20%. At an average return of 8% annually, after 10 years, that's roughly $73,000. After 20 years, around $230,000. After 30 years, over $500,000. Not from luck. Not from timing the market. From structure. Now compare that to someone who earns the same amount, but spends everything. Same income. Completely different outcome. One person builds options. The other builds obligations. One can walk away from a bad job. The other can't afford to. One handles emergencies with a buffer. The other resets to zero. This is the real difference. It's not about looking rich. It's about having choices. Freedom isn't a number in your bank account. It's the ability to say no without fear. And that only happens when your system compounds over time. Slow at first, then all at once. You don't stay broke because you don't make enough. You stay broke because your money has no structure. Build the system once and let it run. If this helped you see money differently, subscribe and come back to it. Treat it like a framework you refine, not a video you watch once. Because when every dollar has a job, staying broke stops being an outcome.